So today we're going to be having Carolina Adaptive Golf present. Brandon Worley, he's going to be talking to the group. Before that, we don't have very many announcements today because we're kind of getting the end of not the end of our year, but kind of in a way. So the only real announcements is that we are not going to be having any lunch and learns in July of August. There will be a break then, and we'll pick back up in September with Family Connections. So thank you everybody for being here, and Brandon, you ready to go whenever you are. You're on no line.
Good afternoon, everybody. First off, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to be here. Also thank the Barbara Stone Foundation for having the Lunch and Learn platform to be able to share the different services in the community and help enhance awareness of the different service providers, along with providing those grants that help support our different local organizations. So Upstate Carolina Adaptive Golf, we're just kind of give you a little story, kind of background of how we kind of came about to where we got to now. So like I said, my name is Brandon. I grew up in Clinton, South Carolina. I was raised, been playing golf since I was 8 years old. Growing up, I had access to private clubs, private instruction, any kind of equipment I needed access to. And so I developed the skill, and I could play pretty good golf by the age of 12, 14. Once I graduated high school, I would say I didn't probably focus as hard on my academic side that I should have been to kind of continue that golf career to a collegiate level. So I went to the Army recruiter, and he offered me a 6-inch sub and a China buffet, and I was sold there. So I went straight to serve our country with the Army. Did one deployment. So from 2014, from 2010 to 2014, I did my 4 years and decided to transition out. And as I was transitioning, I started kind of, thinking, I put all this time and energy every day for the Army. What can I take and translate that into the civilian world? And, I'll be passionate about what I'm doing. And so I started connecting golf and, just kind of having, acceptance of that reality to become a professional golfer is really, it's not impossible. It's just few and far in between. So I started researching more about psychology and focusing on the mindfulness aspect of golfers and how do we get in that flow-like state of mind to ultimately perform on a golf course. And that's when I started piecing together what my end goal was, which was to ultimately become a sports psychologist and working with elite athletes and collegiate performers and how we enhance that performance on the golf course. And so I started my journey, well, I guess summer 2014. My first year out, I did like 48 or 58 credit hours at a community college. I was two courses away from an associate's 1 year while working about 40 hours a week at Dollar General. And then once I got approved for my benefits, I wound up moving to Greenville in 2015, bought a home, and then transitioned. I wound up graduating my bachelor's out of Upstate in May 2017 with experimental psychology with a minor in philosophy. It wasn't until October 2018 I started my master's of science in positive psychology with a concentration in coaching down in Marietta, Georgia. And I saw a volunteer opportunity. It said volunteer for an intro to golf program. And I was like, oh yeah, sounds like it's right up my alley. So I signed up to go volunteer that day. And I wound up coming into a volunteer brief and they started talking about how we're going to be working with a group of visually impaired children and how golf uses their therapy and all these other adaptive golf programs that they have run throughout the state of Georgia. And so I'm sitting in there listening for the first time ever hearing the word adaptive golf or golf, how it uses therapy. I'm just like, kind of blown away. I was like, there's a whole nother side of this golf that I never even knew existed. And so I got out there, and my first participant, she's about 8 years old, visually impaired, never touched the club, just talked to her, gained her trust, drawn right golf positions. By that time, I just kind of tapped the ball so she could feel it, stepped back, and her first swing, she turned back, turned through, that ball went down there in the fairway. And I about fell over with an aha moment as I turned around, just saw the mom in tears of joy and just smiling with joy, and that was my moment. I just kind of looked up and was like, man, this is it. And I stayed around for the clinic, kind of networking with some other volunteer helpers. And it was just ironic because, 90% of the volunteers on site that were helping with the program were also combat veterans. And they were explaining to me how coming out once a week, working with Dave's program, not only helped them get control of their PTSD, but give them a new purpose in life and showing up and getting that fulfillment of helping these young kids that were overcoming their challenges. And so it was just like, and back then, October 2018 was just one of them days where I'm just like, man, I don't know what I got to do or what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go all in. We're going to do this. And so October, I wound up founding Upstate Carolina Adaptive Golf. At that time, I probably didn't know what a 501c3 meant when I filed the original paperwork, but we're about to be going on 5 years come in October. So that's just a little bit about me and how we actually got started back in 2018. So as we kind of evolved, we started with like one program in the upstate, and we named ourselves Upstate Carolina Adaptive Golf. And we just recently transitioned with a 3-year strategic plan to kind of grow as Carolina Adaptive Golf, be able to help expand in different markets. So essentially our overall mission, we exist to create an environment where participants in the Carolinas have access to adaptive golf therapy that promotes inclusion, builds self-confidence, enhances quality of life. These are some pictures of our participants. So just being able to have that inclusion accessible aspect where family members can now play together. I'm sure if you hang around network a little bit, you can talk about how Chris and I got connected, and we got him out last year on Father's Day with the golf reveal, play with his father on Father's Day. And then even juniors, that might be overcoming their challenges, being able to utilize a piece of equipment, help them stand up and get in a good position to be able to participate just like anybody else. So essentially who we serve, I don't really have a box that we don't serve. Essentially we serve everyone and overcoming any kind of challenge. I've seen all kind of different challenges come through our program. Anyone that's been on the spectrum of PTSD, amputees, different diseases, visual impairment, spinal cord injuries, paralysis. You name it, we've essentially worked with all different backgrounds of life. Great thing about our program, we've got different services we provide where it's all the way to your basic entry level over to where we do some skill development to kind of help grow from that beginner phase to eventually, kind of get to a level where they can compete in different competitions against other people with different challenges. So it's just great. I'll just share a couple of stories. So like Sophia here on the far left, she got connected to our program, and she's actually a daughter of her other 2 sisters also have Down syndrome. She was the most outgoing. She came to our program, just fell in love with the game. By week 4 of our 6-week series, I'm sending her home. We're on a golf set. Dad comes back next week. He's like, "Grandman, we really appreciate you giving us those clubs for Sophia. However, yeah, she sleeps with them at night." And we get ready to take her to school. She throws a fit because she can't take her club with her. But I thought, she's change the policies around there. I don't know. But she's active in it, loves to work on her game. And she has she has 2 other sisters with Down syndrome. Well, we also have a program in Spartanburg, so they found out the one that we ran in Spartanburg was right down the road from where they live. And so they wound up, the babysitter couldn't watch the other 2 one day, so the father wound up bringing one of the other daughters out. Well, she's got, kind of her little ways, her vibe, so she always got her little makeup bag, and but she was able to put her makeup bag down, grab a golf club, hit the ball, and then she fell in love with it. So now you got 2 sisters hugging each other, loving the sport. And it's just been great to see. And when we gave her set, same thing. But now both sisters sleep with their golf set. So it's great to see all that. And then in the middle, you got Randall, who we last year we hosted the first Palmetto State Adaptive Golf Open Championship down in Columbia, where we probably brought 14 to 15 players from the upstate to compete in Columbia with other adaptive players. And then Rosalind here on the far right, she's actually with the spinal cord injury and TBI group out of Thrive. And so that was her first time standing up since she's had her injury. And she's actually left-handed, so we had to adapt a little bit on the mat. So essentially how we provide our services to have our impact. It started with just one community intro clinic, which has grown into, we have 2 monthly community intro clinics, and I'll kind of give a little bit more details about those. But essentially then from there we offer on-course play dates, one-on-one trainings, ultimately trying to get individuals to be able to get to a level where they can compete with one another. I've been able to acquire and build up inventory over time where we have enough equipment to where if somebody can't afford their own set, I can essentially donate a set to that family or participant. Just this year, I've probably given out over 24 sets. We probably still have over 60 on hand from just gathering. And then we also recently, toward the end of last year, as we're expanding and growing, I realized, I can't be everywhere at once. So I actually made the decision to hire a part-time physical therapist to have, and that's just been a great addition to our services where we can actually grow to one-on-one side thing. Where we had a stroke survivor actually come in yesterday using our one-on-one service, where Medicaid essentially pays for $2,200 of bills a year, and then they're done. And so once he spends that money, they don't cover anything else. So being able to offer an alternative form of therapy that we can kind of work with that family, where if we need to, we're kind of going through it where we can apply for scholarships or grants to be able to get that individual rehabilitated through the game of golf. And just in his 2 to 3 times of coming out, his range of motion, because he only has he's only able to use the left side, but his range of motion has gone, from just being able to take it to his hip to all the way where he's actually fully extending back now. And so, him and his wife are able to have something that they can do together and work on together and kind of give them a plan of action to help him keep progressing. Let's see. So kind of back to our monthly clinics. This is one of our most popular clinics where, I don't know, July 2019, we might start with like 3 to 4 people, 6 to 10 to 12, where the most we've had on the 4th Monday at Topgolf, like 96 people. And so essentially, some of these programs wouldn't be successful without the support in the community. So we have a lot of different organizations that we'll partner with that will bring out their either care providers or different volunteers, like so Guest and Brady Law Firm, TD Community Bank, Scan Source. There's a lot of different companies that are willing to kind of donate their man-hour times to help us make sure we're running successful events. So these are more of a just basic introductory type of sessions that, are built more around the socialization aspect, having that community that you can come to and just feel welcome. And I'd say the majority of the people that attend are usually out of Thrive Upstate services. So and then a couple of homeschoolers, just because it's in the morning. Summertime, we'll have probably more of a variety of different backgrounds. And so these are no charge to the community. So it's designed, to be free, to be able to offer that service. And then essentially from there, that's where we kind of figure out what's that next step and start to funnel the population into different specific series. So like coming up this summer, in the spring, summer, fall, we run a 6-week game on skill development series. It's targeted toward the youth audience, 5 to 18. However, I'll have developmental challenge adults that might be 26 go through the program, or 32 or 22, 19. I'm not going to turn anybody away. And so essentially what winds up happening, those participants wind up being kind of more the peer mentors of the group, kind of having that little leadership skill, be able to also help coach the younger generation. So it's kind of cool to watch everything transpires. And so our next one coming up is going to start June 21st, where essentially the first 4 weeks, we're really focused on, not only skill developments, but also by the end of this session, we're also incorporate some kind of life skill that they can kind of take and compare golf to it in real life scenarios. And that way, kind of building up their tools and their toolkit. And that way, as they're navigating different challenges in life, they can know, relate back to perseverance in golf, not hitting the golf ball every time perfect, every day not gonna be perfect in life, and just kind of keep putting one step in front of the other. And, building that supportive community around each other that we can share what we need to, and be able to provide a platform that's going to be supportive and help increase confidence. Let's see. And then also, just me being a veteran, I originally started as a veteran program. It just kind of transpired to where, you know what, there's a gap. We need to, how can us veterans serve more people? But I also, so on course outcomes, that's where a big socialization aspect, the veterans overcome different PTSD or isolation. I'll do these veteran outings once or twice a month just to kind of get a group of 12 up together at a time. Kind of share what's going on in their life, and kind of through this, right, but connecting to other resources. I just say that because, our main service is provide golf as therapy. So if somebody comes in and has some financial issues or housing, employment, I've kind of been in the nonprofit world for about 4.5 years now, so I kind of have an idea of who to connect, who to what resource. So it's been great to kind of see some of these guys, come in, be able to share what they, because that's the biggest thing is not only a vet, but for anybody, asking for help is one of the hardest things that you can have, want to reach out for. So, like anonymously, I've helped some of these guys in this group, might couldn't afford something on their house, but I know there's a veteran home preservation project over here, and just telling them, hey, it's okay to fill out that application. It's okay if you qualify and they're willing to assist you. So just kind of being there as more of a mentor peer group. And then just, as you grow, a lot of times, how are we tracking progress? And the biggest impact it has on me is the anecdotal stories that come from the families, the over time progression that we get to see as coaches. So it's just great to see how golf can have such a big impact on somebody's life. So this is a pair golfer. I just like to throw this up here sometimes so people see it. It's essentially it's classified as a medical wheelchair. And so because of that, it's a little pricier, but it's definitely essential for our mission because it essentially allows somebody who might be non-weight bearing to be able to be strapped in and be able to stand up and play golf. And so typically the retail price of the newer model is about $32,550. I think that includes shipping. I don't know. They might still bill you for $500 in shipping. And so, and like I kind of discussed briefly, type of backgrounds that a pair golfer does serve. So ultimately, our goal is to, long-term vision would be, we have one of these at every public golf course in the surrounding areas to where anybody can call and book a tee time if they're a seated player, and have access to an aide or caregiver coach and be able to go out there and play as they wish. So just laying the foundation, one brick at a time, we'll get there. This is just kind of over time, some of our partners and sponsors, probably couldn't fit everybody on one page, but just between financial support from the different foundations, the different other service provider that we partner with to be able to provide services. It wouldn't be possible without all these different network partners and funders. So. Just kind of the growth, just kind of, it's not just important to look at just the progress, but, being able to lay that foundation for supportive community and which the results kind of take care of themselves because of the great people that are getting involved through the game of golf. So, 2019, we just get started, had maybe 16 events / services that we offered. So 74 people started with 22 trained coaches. So each year I've kind of set more and more goals to where like last year in 2022, we, serve just over 800 people. And that's through partnering with different, we offer additional service. We're partnering with some of the county's special needs classes inside the schools and having them bring their classes out in different segments. And that way we can actually have a broader impact on more people. Oops. And this is current to date, 2023. The board kind of challenged me back in our annual meeting in December. They were like, hey, you should go for hitting 1,000 people this year. I'm like, let's do it. And so luckily we're just halfway through and I'm past halfway, but we've kind of been able to expand, from Greenville, where in our strategic plan, we have market focuses in Greenville, Clemson, Spartanburg. We got a partner charity, Columbia, that runs our programs down there. Then Myrtle Beach is our next market. We're going to tap into the Charlotte. So right now, kind of as a collective, this is as a collective from all those parts, where I'd say probably still 80–90% of the people are still in the upstate Greenville surrounding area. And this is just something that kind of I came up with when I first started, that everyone has the ability to provide the opportunity, and noticing that we're providing more of these opportunities and more people are realizing that they have the ability when they're out there actually, putting in the effort and trying. So I left some information on every table. You're more welcome to take that. If y'all have any questions, more than happy to answer those. And thank y'all so much for coming out this lunch. Appreciate it. So he's my lead organizer for that fundraiser. I'm on the tripod. There you go.
James is at the far left of that photo.
But James, yeah, that's my man with that left leg on the left, far left. He's helping me put that fundraiser together in Emmett. And there will actually be an adaptive golf clinic that day before the fundraiser. So if y'all have any children or people that would want to participate, it's online, but I want to say it's going to run from 10 to 11:30. But the agenda will be on that website link for that day.
You're moving out of the picture.
What did you want me right here?
I'm trying to get you in here.
When I'm not paying attention?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Not a question, just I would not wait to share my husband. Because him and one of my son-in-law who gets such a kick out of it.
It's going to be a good day.
They'll probably go.
We'd love to have you. Well, thank y'all again. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Brandon.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Brandon.
And Merritt's gonna come around.
Let's give Brandon one more round of applause.